Hi, everyone. Welcome to JK'z Rewatchable Hour. I am your host tonight, Jennifer. I am joined by Jeffrey. How you doing?
Drowning. I'm good, thanks.
I'm joined by George in the red. How you
Hello. I'm good. I'm doing good.
And we're joined by Jacqueline. How are you today?
Hi, guys. I'm good. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
So tonight's topic is kind of a continuation of last week's topic about lesser known figures in history and any unsolved mysteries you wanted to look up and tell us about. But first, I wanted to talk about a drink that I researched. It's Aspire Healthy Drinks. It's green tea powered energy drink. It's keto friendly, gluten free, 0 calorie, no sugar. They've got lots of flavors. So go on aspiredrinks.com and put our promo code JKZ show in and you will get 20% off. And we will also get a 20% commission on your order. So it's a win-win. Check them out. They've got lots of flavors and they're pretty tasty. So who would like to begin our show on some people? Jeffrey?
Oh, wow. That selection was weird.
Jeffrey's our fill-in Eric tonight.
I was thinking that too.
I'm just not going to be sweating and really, really nervous like Eric, who hopefully he had a safe trip back, and you should be back from Florida any day now. So, all right. I once again did some research because I had to, because I could not make this shit up. So I have a question before I tell you about the first person I researched that was lesser known, that helped history throughout the world. What is the number one ticket that people get in their vehicle?
Speeding?
Speeding?
Okay.
Insurance.
Okay. Well, that didn't
Flat
go
tire.
so well. Jackie, what tire? What the?
Flat tire.
Oh, flat. I thought you said.
No headlight.
Okay, well, you're all wrong. Anyways, there was this gentleman named, I'm going to butcher his name, Nils Bohlin, okay? He worked for Volvo in 1958.
Volvo?
Volvo, not Volvo. Stop it, you pervert.
Not vulva?
Jeepers. That even got a giggle out of George. Good job. He doesn't giggle much. He designed the 3-point seatbelt. Back in those days, it was just across the lap. So he designed the over the shoulder or over the chest and over
the shoulder.
Yeah. Anyway, shush. I got confused. So that's what I wanted to bring up, and it saved over obviously millions and millions of lives. Sorry, she threw me off with that vulva thing. Sorry, I was not expecting that. Do I get to pick who goes now? Because it seems like it was unfair that I won. No,
Wow.
go ahead. No, whatever. I'm good. I forgot the timer. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
But no, I thought that was really interesting that nobody talked about that. It was really just, here. And so, I thought it was pretty cool. And nobody knows about that.
Well, I didn't know that seatbelt apparently is the highest ticketed thing. I'm guessing.
Because I have, throughout my life, I have several tickets for nothing.
I wear mine all the time.
Well, so
I have forever.
But there's
I think the biggest reason was if we were caught in the military not wearing our seatbelt, you don't get a ticket. You get what's called an Article 15. So not only do you have to do extra duty when you're done with your regular job, they also take money out of your pocket, like half a month's pay. I'm like, no. And, so I kind of got used to wearing it all the time. As a matter of fact, my 1973 Plymouth Duster that I bought in Texas didn't have the 3-point seatbelt. I installed 3-point seatbelts So that way, because when I only had the lap belt, every time I came through the gate, they had to stop me, pull me off to the side, and make sure I had my seatbelt on because I didn't have the shoulder strap.
Right.
So I installed them there. Strangely enough, they were out of a Nissan Sentra.
Okay, so let me just reiterate. So maybe it's me who's got the most tickets out of the group for, or being pulled over, I should say. Anyways, anyways. Okay, so that was my first one. I just thought it was really interesting because,
And and now any of our new cars, if you don't have your seatbelt on, they let you know every like 4.2 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, who's up?
I'll go.
Oh, George goes.
All right. Lois Gibbs. In the early 1970s, she lives in Niagara Falls, New York. She had 2 children that had a rare illness. But she also noticed that all of her neighbors had medical issues. After going around the neighborhood, looking around, and she discovered that nearby was a 20,000 ton there was 20,000 tons of toxic chemicals that were just kind of dumped there. And she later learned that there was no organization existed to address this issue.
Wow.
Like in all of the government departments that we had none. We did not have any that would address toxic chemicals.
In what year?
In the
70s?
early 1970s.
Wow.
She founded what is today known as the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice. I don't remember what it was called back then. They had a different name. They changed it a few years later. It didn't keep its original name very long. That department evacuated 800 families from the area and cleaned up the toxic waste. And from then on, that's what they do. That, like, if you find that, I imagine it's the group, like, let's say a plane crashes in your yard and all of the fuel is spread through the dirt. They're the ones that would come in and clean it up.
Okay. Like the
it is now a government-funded organization.
EPA?
Yeah.
EPA?
No, it's the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice.
Way off.
Yes.
So in the 1970s, there was just like there was just these barrels of toxic waste and nobody.
It didn't say if they were in barrels or if they were dumped, but even if they were in barrels, they were leaking out, filling the air. Because, like I said, not only her 2 children, but all of her nearby neighbors all had the same. They didn't have the same, but they all had medical issues that they didn't have prior to living there. Like the only thing that linked them all together was they lived in the same neighborhood. And that's when she looked around, she ended up finding what turned out to be 20,000 tons of toxic chemicals.
Christ. Huh.
Yeah.
Good one, George. Good one. Who's up?
I guess that's my turn.
Oh.
So what I chose first is a unsolved mystery back in 1829. His name is John Lansing Jr. He was an attorney, but also known as the founding father of the United States. Anybody know him? No. So he was born in Albany, and he was a delegate to the federal Wait, let me get my glasses on. A delegate to the Federal Constitutional Convention in 1787, and he held some, like in the state, in the Senate, he was a governor, or not a governor, but a mayor of New York. And from 1817 until he vanished, he was regent of the University of the State of New York. He ended up disappearing in 1829, but one of the things he was known for is that he wanted to prevent the Constitution from being approved because he thought that it proposed that or infringing on the state and individual rights of the people. So he didn't believe that should be passed. So I guess that might have been some controversial thoughts and beliefs there, because in 1829 he left his apartment in Manhattan. Actually, it was a hotel room, so sorry about that. I don't know why. It seems like when I was doing some of this research that some folks just go from hotel to hotel. There was another guy that I looked up. He's actually quite known, but yeah, he just lived in hotel rooms. Anyways, John Lansing Jr., he disappeared in 1829 after leaving his New York City hotel room to just mail a letter, and no trace was ever found. And it still remains unknown. But more detail on his disappearance, though, is that there was a clue to his disappearance because the memoirs, I don't always say that much, memoirs of Thurlow Weed actually was published, and he was going to tell the world or publish the people who he was told was responsible for the disappearance of John. But he was then swayed not to publish those particular people. So according to Thurlow Weed, his unnamed source showed papers to prove that there were some people that didn't believe that or was getting in the way of some political stuff happening at the time. So it still remains unsolved as to what happened to Mr. John Lansing Jr.
Case.
Not as interesting as the two that you guys spoke about, but as far as like unsolved in the history, that's what I found. So I just also want to state that the other people that I have to talk about really might not be, I don't know. I kind of picked interesting and like factual but interesting facts about some historical people. Would that fit?
Yeah. That's what this show is about. I mean, that's pretty interesting that this is going to be a whistleblower, and then poof, and then poof, just
for him to be a founding father but not want the Constitution to be
right. Yeah. No, I thought that was pretty interesting. Good job. All right, host.
My turn?
Your turn.
Dear.
Deeper.
All right. Well, you know who this is. If you don't, you lived under a rock.
Why is everybody looking at me?
I looked up Annie Oakley. Widely known as a little sure shot, she was born Phoebe Ann Mosey. Grew up to be an incredible sharpshooter, world-renowned master of dangerous trick shots. No. At 30 paces, she could split a playing card, held edge on, hit dimes tossed into the air, and shot cigarettes from her husband's lips. Annie was a headliner in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show in 1885 with her husband, Frank Butler. Annie Oakley was also an advocate for women fighting in combat. Throughout her lifetime, she passed on the art of shooting to more than 15,000 women.
Wow.
In 1901, Oakley was badly injured in a train accident, but recovered after suffering temporary paralysis and enduring 5 spinal operations.
Oh.
She and Frank gave much of their earnings to orphanages as they didn't have kids. And she passed away in 1926 at the age of 66, and followed by Frank 18 days later.
Oh,
So she used to shoot her husband's cigarette out of his mouth?
Yep.
Damn.
That'll get you to quit.
Holy shit.
She did
And you said that she could walk and then turn around and shoot a dime?
pieces.
Damn.
Yep.
I knew all of the shooting things about her. I just didn't know a lot of the end stuff.
Good job. That's interesting. And you said she had 5 back operations? Or?
Mhm. Spinal operations.
Jesus.
Back in
Yeah, I did not know that.
those days, yeah.
Interesting.
yeah. No, somebody can't survive a bullet wound, but can have a back operation? 5 of them?
Yep.
Dang.
I mean, if she was that good of a shot, if you're operating on her, I mean, you're probably going to want to make sure that she's well. If not, you might be mailing a letter. And
Well, if she's not well, what's she gonna
Yeah,
do?
you know,
I mean,
yeah, I know.
if she dies on the table, she cannot shoot you anymore.
Pretty much. But no, good job. See, I like doing these types of shows. I find this stuff very, very interesting. So, and I do have one that I probably will mispronounce, but oh well, it is what it is.
Want me to help you sound it
Yeah,
out?
can you help me sound it out? Okay. So, I guess.
Can you read his handwriting?
Yeah, this time I can.
So.
I didn't use disappearing ink this time.
No, can I read it?
Oh, probably not. I write it the way I can understand it. Okay, so let's go to 1989. Have you guys ever heard of the Tank Man? Tank, Tank Man.
Yes. And anybody who was on the show, also knows about it because we did a little show called Unsolved Mysteries.
Yep. Well,
and I asked if anybody knew the Tank Man.
Well, it looks like.
Go ahead and say what you researched.
Okay, so back in 1989 in Beijing, I don't know how to pronounce this word, Tiananmen Square.
Yep.
Oh, yay!
Good job.
What was going on was they were just killing thousands of people, protesters, students, and this guy out of nowhere just walks into the middle of 5 or 6 tanks just coming down to go back into the square. He's just holding just a shopping bag. He's in a pair of black slacks, white shirt. The tanks stopped. They tried to go around him. Wherever they went, he went. And this went on, I don't know, not long. But what happened was all the tanks shut their engines off. And he climbed up onto one of the tanks and he was talking with everybody. But he was pulled off by the MPs or cops or whatever they're called. And nobody knew who he was, why he did what he did. But he started the whole, it's okay to stand up for what you believe in. I mean, in the picture, it's a very well-known picture. He looks less than 100 pounds, and here's 5 or 6 tanks just rolling down.
Yep.
And like I said, the way I read it is like he was talking to the soldiers, because they were coming back to kill more people because the day before they killed 10,000 protesters just because whatever was going on. So that picture is actually a very famous picture, and I thought it was very interesting that just some people could stop tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. I have one where I'm gonna butcher a name probably.
That happens.
Okay, her first name is spelled Malala. Malala?
Malala.
Now it's a Pakistan name, so, and the last name is Yaus Afzal, I don't know. Yousafzal. No idea how to pronounce that.
And this is
Okay,
all-
so she was born in Pakistan. In 2008, her town was taken over by the Taliban. And girls were not allowed to go to school. She publicly spoke out about it, and she was shot on the left side of her head. After months of recovery and moving to the United Kingdom with her family, she started a fund named after her, the Malala Fund, or however you say her name. And she raised enough money through that fund that every girl had an opportunity for education, even if they had to use the money to get them out of whatever country they were in. At the age of 17, she became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Wow.
Love that. Nice.
Yeah.
And she's now married to a guy she met in college. I read that.
Sure. I didn't read that far. I stopped reading at that point. There was an aftermath thing, and I didn't read it.
No, I
Apparently,
read people a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
people. No, but
I was
that's
gonna say I didn't read the aftermath part. I only read that part.
way to steal Georgia's thunder, Jen.
No, that's great. I'm glad that she could add to it.
I mean, you know, it was pretty remarkable, but then, she married to some guy she met in college,
Probably in the United Kingdom.
Well, it's good she did that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. The fact that she created a fund so that way,
Yep.
Very interesting.
Because in 2008, let's face it, only third world countries like that, or maybe communist countries, are the only ones that might not allow women for an education. Obviously, in Europe, in at least in North America, all women can have all girls can have an education. But it's those countries like that can't.
Yep.
That might not be allowed to.
Good job, George. Good job. And good adding what you read in People, Jen. I mean,
You're welcome.
Maybe a sponsor from People. All right, Jackie.
All right, so mine's not in the history. I mean, just if you count 5 years ago, there is if you all didn't know this, because I was actually surprised that I have not ever heard of this. But I will want to take and give credit to a TikTok. This is where I found it. The TikTok page is at the _lost_facts_show. Shout out to them. There is a DJ. I don't know what his channel is, but his name is Randy Williams, and he is a current DJ. He decided to buy 11 acres in Southern California, actually part of the desert. I don't know if Southern California. And he created what they call a micronation, which is considered his own country. He's got citizens. Because he's a DJ and he likes slow jams, he named it Slow Jamistan. Doesn't this sound fake to you guys? But Wikipedia confirmed. So I had to do some digging, right? Okay, so 11 acres in Southern California. There's no structures right now, but there's plans on possibly an armadillo farm, a bowling alley, a hot dog emporium, stuff like that. And when Biden was president, he did not acknowledge this country at all. And in fact, this guy said that he's visited all, was it 193 countries, which there's another fact for you that I had no idea about. That he wanted, since he'd already visited all of the countries, he wanted to create his own. But he's got his own flag. He's got his own national anthem. And he claimed the 11 acres in the desert. And this was December 1st in 2021 that he did this. There's no structures, but he has created laws, his own laws, which are funny as well. So that includes no Crocs, no mumble rapping, you know, when people rap and you can't understand what they're saying. People who put their feet up on the dashboard, and those that eat string cheese without, with biting the ends of them instead of tearing the string cheese, you know?
Why'd you look at me?
Well, there goes our California vacation.
Damn it.
There goes our vacation plans.
There's a couple other things. In 2024, he represented Slowjamistan as a guest at the 2024 NATO summit in Washington, D.C. And there was one other fun fact. Oh, the people, he's got citizens. There's 19,000 citizens to this country, and they're called Slowjamistanis.
All I'm saying is this place is overpopulated.
I was gonna, for 13
11 acres.
For 11 acres.
And how many?
And there's 19,000?
19,000.
Yes.
Man, their toilets
That's
are
like 1,400 people per acre.
My good.
That's like 1,400 people per acre.
He is hilarious. Randy Lewis. I just wanted to show his face. He looks quite dapper in his.
Yeah.
You know.
That is military. Is that his
own? Yeah.
What's the name
He's
of the country?
He's got a coat of arms.
What's the name of the country?
Slowjamistan.
Is he like also the general of the Slowjamistan army? Which, if it's like by percentage wise, there's like 12 people in said army.
Yeah.
Road trip.
So here,
there's no place to stand there.
Let me read something else Wikipedia says. It says, although Slowjamistan has no structures located on the plot of land, is a large border sign by the highway, a border control post, and an open desk that serves as the Williams office, the self-proclaimed sultan of the micronation.
So, Jeff, you're on your laptop, right?
Yeah.
Just look up population per square acre of New York City.
Okay, I'm sorry. Say that again. I got lost after population.
Population.
Yep.
Per acre, ACRE.
Yep.
In New York City.
Okay. 45 people per acre.
45 people per acre. This place has like.
Well, there's no building.
23 times as many people per acre.
Sleeping on the grass?
Oh my God, that's friggin' hilarious. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Oh.
When you said 11 acres, I'm like 11, and then you said 11 acres, not a big deal. 11 acres, okay.
But then 19,000 people.
But then when you said 19,000, I'm like, wow. Because if it was 1,000 per acre, there'd be 11,000 people.
Yep.
But it's another 8,000 more.
They better hope that their plumbing is very secure.
There is no plumbing.
There should probably, with you having to be that close to people, there should probably be a new law that they make. Everybody must shower like 3 times a freaking day.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe
I don't want to be that close to that many people if they don't.
No road trip. Very good, Jackie. All right.
And you couldn't get away with any of the laws being broken because literally you're elbow to elbow with the next guy. So he sees you eating, not peeling your string cheese, woo.
Sorry.
I want to know what the penalty. I want to know what the penalty for said crimes are.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
There is another micronation in Dayton, Nevada. So I guess this is a thing that I need to do.
I know there's a few. I know there's a few.
You've heard of this, huh, George?
I've heard of a few that they say they've claimed to be, but the catch is they have to, like, if they leave said nation, they can't. I know we've all seen the TikToks and the different YouTube videos where somebody tries to say that they don't need a license plate because they're from a sovereign nation or as if they are to travel outside of the said nation, they have to abide by our laws. Right. They try to say that they don't have to. That's the one thing.
Comparable to the Indian reservations, then.
Right. They have to abide by our laws when they're outside of the reservation.
Huh.
And the reservations are seen as, I don't want to say a sovereign nation because they're not a nation per se, but
very, very interesting. We're going to start our own. Jen, if you want to do one more, then we'll take a commercial break. And
I have 2 little quick ones to do. They're very short. Henrietta Lacks. Her cervical cancer cells were taken without permission in 1951 and became the first immortal human cell line used in thousands of medical breakthroughs, including polio vaccines and AIDS research.
I actually read that one today. It's not in people.
Copycat.
I read that one before we did last week's show. I just didn't,
Let's see.
Yeah, I had heard it, and that was the first time I'd heard it, though. I was like, okay.
The other one is Jean Barrett. She disguised herself as a man to sail with the French Navy from 1766 to 1769 to explore the world as women were prohibited from sailing.
I read that one today too.
But I did not. I'm not going to copy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we're all going to go out.
No, I did. Yeah, I did not read that one. I did not know about that one.
Just before we go to commercial break, we're going to start our own nation, the JK Rewatchable Nation. Let's just see how far that flies. I just don't want 19,000 people, though.
All right. However, when we have our first election, that is going to be step 1 in my hostile takeover. I'm writing that down right now.
Well, I'm going to outlaw toasters
and shower caps.
And I am going to veto.
I can just throw a microwave in there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Blender or...
To our listeners in Singapore, if I'm not on next week, please send help. Send help. But all right, let's take but just before we go to break, I want to just give a shout out. One of my friends, I sent you all the picture. Will White, Pins and Wins podcast. If you like wrestling and sports, That's the podcast to go for. He paraded our merchandise around his job this past Monday. He went up to a bunch of people. This is where he told me, he was like, hey, go check this podcast out. So just return the favor. Thank you, Will, for doing that. And for all of us, appreciate you. And so, yeah, with that, I will find that pause button somewhere.